Average stinks. What are you doing? Get out of here. My producer and director thinks that she has to be involved. But I've got it down. I got it right here. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco as we take a look at the Cowboys draft. No, not the one coming. That's important. Don't we, by the way, say, this one's the most important draft of all? They're all the most important draft of all time, including drafts from 3 years ago. A lot of people in the NFL have this theory. You got to give 3 years to a draft to let it mature, to let it blossom, to allow it to be judged. And so we do tend, don't we? Like right after the draft, we got to get a draft report out, draft report card. And before I take you back to 2018 in the Cowboys draft, I have to tell you this old story. I come to the Star-Telegram, Fort Worth Star-Telegram in 1990 to become the Cowboys beat writer. And the editor, we get to the draft, he goes, okay, he goes, now on the Monday after the draft, I want you to write a draft card, report card on how the Cowboys did. I was new. I go, I will. But next year I've got a better idea. He said, oh, I'd like to hear it. I said, next year. Let me get my feet wet a little bit. So we did our stupid draft grade board chart. And of course, naturally, if a team has 2 picks in the first round, guess what grade that team ends up getting? Miraculously, they get an A. If in the 7th round, they drafted a running back from Notre Dame who was on TV every week, hey, guess what? I really like that guy. I saw him on TV every week. I don't know. And so the next year, I was able to say, editor, I'm a sports writer. I'm not a scout. Now, I can collect information from scouts, but making me or letting me or having me grade the draft using my own brain, that doesn't have any true value. It's got fake value. What if I offer true value? What if I, on the morning of the draft, the day before the draft, whatever, write about the Cowboys' plan as best I can? That would be me being a reporter. I'll get Jimmy, Jerry, to tell me tidbits about the plan. Then the draft will come. Then on Monday, I'll write about whether or not, and I'll grade. Did they execute their plan? Oh, he thought I was the smartest thing, and I was. I was a smart young boy. So starting then and ever since then, 30 years later, that's what I do. I don't tell you, Cowboys get a B on the guy they drafted yesterday. How do I know? I could tell you Brian Broaddus gives him a B, and I'm passing that on to you. I could tell you I've surveyed scouts from 7 different teams, and they all agree that that pick was a B. But best of all, I can tell you that the day before the draft of Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys planned on taking James Francis, the linebacker from Baylor. Linebacker, right? That was the plan. And the fact that they ended up with Emmitt, I'm not saying I gave it actually that was my first year, so I didn't give it a grade. I gave it a fake grade. And I probably gave Emmitt a good grade because he's a running back. But after that, I knew what they wanted to do with Buckley, the cornerback, versus Kevin Smith, I believe. And they wanted Buckley. Terrell Buckley, does that sound right? Who ended up going to the Packers? And I wrote that. I wrote that was the plan before the draft. And I knew it was. We got in a press conference after they drafted Kevin Smith, and I raised my hand to Jimmy. I said, can you tell me more about, Kevin Smith versus what I know your plan to be, which was Terrell Buckley? And he goes, Fisher, I don't know what you're talking about. They got a bad grade for Kevin Smith from me. Not because I was against Kevin Smith, what do I know? But because they were unable to execute their plan. And it worked out fine. Kevin Smith turned out to be a very fine player, and Buckley was not necessarily a better player than Kevin Smith. But I grade the plan and the execution of it. So, can we grade a draft 3 years later? I believe we can. With the help of Matthew Postins, we've done just that. The Cowboys 2018 draft in review. We're going to call this average when we're done. And then I'm going to suggest to you that average stinks. First round, Leighton Vander Esch. Give it a grade. Man, for a year there, that was an A. He was a rookie, Pro Bowl, and then the neck and the stuff. He's not done yet. The neck's something to watch. I wonder if when you've done that to your neck, you come back and go, no problem with me. I'm going to stick my neck and my nose right in there. I wonder. Let's give that a B-. The drafting of Leighton Vander Esch, a B-. Second round, Connor Williams. Now, let's go to execution of the plan. What was the plan with pick number 50? If you follow me, you know what the plan was. The Cowboys wanted to trade that pick for Earl Thomas. In that regard, they did not execute the plan very well. What does Connor Williams get as a player? I'll tell you this. He shows up every day. That's something. What's Jerry's new favorite slogan? One of them? Mr. Mike, the most important part of ability is availability. So Connor Williams shows up every day. That's good. But he's, what is he, above average? B-. Third round, Michael Gallup. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere because you start being able to evaluate value for the pick, and then obviously you can represent performance. And Michael Gallup's performance has been very good, and the value for the pick, I would say great. We're going to give Michael Gallup an A- here, 3 years in retrospect, looking back at his production. And I might also add where I think he's going. Good guy, smart guy, good player. Fourth round, Dorrance Armstrong. The defensive coaching staff, at least last year's defensive coaching staff, loves them some Dorrance Armstrong. And the athleticism is absolutely there. This is a big defensive lineman who covers kicks on special teams. Don't find that very often. But overall, Dorrance Armstrong's NFL career, average at best, right? C. Fourth round, Dalton Schultz. This is a compelling one because the narrative completely got changed because Blake Jarwin got hurt. When Jason Witten was here, Dalton Schultz didn't get a sniff of nothing. And if you remember, when they drafted him in the fourth round, they said he's and this was scout talk to me, he is a natural, born to be an inline tight end blocker. He is a blocking tight end, and we think he can develop some things as a receiver. Well, it took Jason Witten being gone twice and Blake Jarwin getting hurt for us to see any of that, but we did see it. Now, let's not go overrating Dalton Schultz. He turned out to be an NFL player, and he was productive. 63 catches, 614 yards. Let's give him a C+. Fifth round, they drafted a quarterback. The execution of the plan gets an A. The drafting of Mike White was smart. They knew what they were trying to do, and they did it. Great. Mike White, as an NFL player, is an F. Sixth round, Chris Covington, the linebacker. He was here for a minute, wasn't he? Made the team in 2018. Played a grand total of 8 games over the course of 2 years. Helps on special teams a little bit, but long gone now. Not average, grade D. Sixth round, Cedric Wilson. They like him. He's an NFL player, and you got him in the 6th round. He's a worker. You're hanging around for a 4th year as a 6th round pick? Let's give you a C. Good for you. 7th round, Bo Scarborough. He's still banging around in the NFL. I remember when they drafted him in the 7th round, a lot of people were in love with it. Why were they in love with it? Why were they in love with the drafting of Bo Scarborough? Because he's a running back. They've heard of him. Saw him on TV. He's big. Grade D. Overall grade. You got to hit big on your 1st round pick, and in terms of its long-term success, they didn't do that. Haven't done that. You got to have the scheme fit the players over the course of these defensive players' careers. That hasn't happened. That's a detriment to them. Not their fault, but part of the grade. Williams, solid. Schultz, solid. Gallup, better than solid. But here's the bottom line, and I appreciate you subscribing to what we do here. The premium subscribers are about ready to get a bobblehead, the Emmitt Smith bobblehead. We're going to give it to a lucky winner when we hit 30 premium. So for 1/4 the price of a cup of coffee, come on in there. It's fun. Bottom line, 3 years later, that's enough to know, is this foundational? Did we have a foundational draft that's important, that's building, that's big, that's good? If it's the foundation of something, if it's a good draft, then you should have, as a result, if it's a foundation, you should have a good team. Do the Dallas Cowboys have a good team? Or is it a C team? Is it an average team? And if the draft was average, and it was, and the team is average, and the numbers say it is, then average stinks. Fish out.